Ajax Garcia, frontman for the Napoleon Blownaparts. Welcome to the Green World Show. How you doing?
Doing great, man.
What's it like in LA today, man?
Well, I'm about 2.5 hours north of there, and it's sunny. It's bright. It's about 80 degrees outside.
So where's 2.5 hours north? Where are you exactly?
In between Fresno, California, in between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Fantastic. And you're working up there today?
Yes, I am. It's the murder capital of California.
That doesn't
Believe it or not.
That doesn't explain why you're there, does it?
No. I was actually born here.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it sounds like a delightful area. I'm trying to convince my wife to let me move her and the kids out to the US, so I don't think I'll let her listen to that part of the show.
Oh yeah, what part of the US would you like to move to?
For business reasons, with what we're currently doing, I keep saying we should go to New York because it's kind of the media capital of things. But she wants to go somewhere warm, and she's arguing for either Florida or LA. And
I'd stay away from Florida.
Yeah.
Just muggy.
Yeah, and too many tornadoes.
Very yeah, tornadoes, all that crazy shit. Where California is totally dry and it's really cool.
And big and dirty.
Yeah, and the chicks are hot.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that. I'll pass that on. Now, mate, I first discovered your band 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I can't really remember how. I think I was searching for new music and somehow stumbled across Magnitude, and I'm a big Napoleon Blownaparts history buff, so the name jumped out at me, and I heard some of the tracks off your Thrill Hype CD that you've been selling over Magnitude service, and I thought, man, these guys are huge. So it's great to chat to you. And then you sent me an email a couple of weeks ago, and we started chatting, and we agreed to hook up for a chat, which is great. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Sure, no worries, man.
Tell me about the name. Why the Napoleon Blownaparts?
Well, it's funny that you say that. There's always these, there's all these, different stories that are out there, and and the fact is that none of them are true at all. The way we came up with a band name was through a Bugs Bunny cartoon. That was it. There was no, there was no agenda there. There was no, hidden secret or anything. A friend of mine, in fact, a good friend of mine, Brian Waters from the Flash Express, me and him used to be in a band in Hollywood, and Brian ended up hooking up with Gene Wineland, I think her name is, from the Go-Go's, and me and him parted ways, and so he was like, oh man, you got to take one of these band names I had found or had come up with, and he had a whole list, like this little Rolodex of band names, and one of them was the Napoleon Blownaparts. And I was like, that's it, we're taking that one.
You thought
that was really cool.
Thought that was a good name for a heavy rock band.
Right.
And you guys have been playing now for like over a decade, I think, haven't you?
7 years.
7 years. That's a lengthy stint.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time, and early on there was much more drive to I guess you could say take over the world. But reality sets in, and you deal with all the record labels and all the bullshit that comes with that, and you just kind of change your plan and start to do it for the fun of it. If you don't, then you become miserable.
Yeah. And in fact,
there's a funny. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you keep talking. I'll talk to you a little bit later about your experience with the music industry, some of the really interesting things that you've been involved with putting together. But tell me your anecdote.
Well, I was going to say that to go back to the band name Napoleon Blownaparts. There's a funny story. We actually got passed on by a major label because of our band name. And the funny thing is we weren't even trying to get on the label. Someone else was shopping us, and I could really care less. And anyway, they sent a rejection letter back saying that our band name didn't, it wasn't a positive, good old-fashioned American name and yada yada yada. In fact, it's supposed to be about our country is supposed to be about freedom, but I'm getting this letter, and it seemed more like some sort of Nazi letter,
They thought you were promoting suicide bombers, did they?
Yeah, well, Blownaparts, we live in a weird time, weird era. So
maybe if you call yourself Operation Shock and Awe, that would have been considered a good American name.
Yeah, there you go. No kidding, huh?
Let's not get into politics, man. I do that on other shows.
Oh, definitely not.
Now,
Definitely.
when I discovered the band and discovered the music, I wanted to find out a little bit more about who these guys were putting together this music, because I grew up in the 70s and 80s, man, when there was a lot of rock music out there, and then it's kind of disappeared. You don't see a lot of you don't hear a lot of this music coming up, certainly through the charts these days. Anyway,
right.
So it was great to discover. And in reading through some of the interviews and listening to some of the interviews that you've got up on various websites, it struck me that you're a businessman and you're a guy who's on a bit of a mission. And one of the things that I read, I think it was on an interview on actually the Magnitude site, was you mentioned that one of your goals is to make at least 50% of your band's music available for free, which isn't something you expect to hear from musicians these days. Can you explain what your thinking is behind that?
Sure. I think that, personally, I think that music should be free. Music itself is an art form, and it should totally be free. I mean, after all, kids are paying for the packaging, right? They're just paying for the paper and plastic. And nowadays, they're not even paying for that. They're getting the music for free. And you got these dinosaur bands, these huge, gigantic bands that are, they're not rolling with the times, and what they're doing is they're trying to fight the inevitable, trying to fight technology, and you just can't do that. Instead of figuring out a way to embrace it, a lot of these bands are trying to fight it, and I think it's the wrong way to go about things, and the whole download generation is a really cool thing, and it's long overdue. Music should be free. My music should be free. We did a deal with Extreme Beverage company that they own, Black Vodka, and basically what we did was we took 4 songs and put them on a disc, and then we produced a radio commercial for Blavad, customized for their product. Put that on the first track, and digitally attached them all together, and then put them all on one disc. Took it to Blavad, say, hey, check this out. We're going to distribute this through magazines, websites, fan clubs, total guerrilla marketing. It's going to cost you this amount if you want to sponsor this disc. So, again, I think that if you're smart enough and if you know how to hustle, you can make money in other ways. The music industry isn't about selling records anymore.